Today we're talking the Zero issue of Divinity.
Welcome back to WhoDooTV. I'm Hoosier.
And I'm Jared.
Today we are talking Divinity Zero. This book is written by Matt Kindt. Art is by Renato Guedes.
Yeah, this book looks amazing. Renato Guedes just kills it in the artwork. If you don't even know what's going on, this is a book to pick up just to look at. I just gotta say, it looks so good.
Right? I believe these are paintings. The first couple pages, you just see these just beautiful color work and paintings put together in just such a way that the book is captivating from the very moment you open it. So,
absolutely.
We've read this book. We're hoping you read this book. This is a great jumping on point for Valiant. We may have some spoilers today. So read this book, come back to us if you don't want any spoilers. If not, check it out.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, this book kind of catches us up a little bit on what had happened with Divinity, involving Abram himself. He's a cosmonaut that was sent out to space. Something happened. He ended up dying. It was brought back to life in a way. Has the power to come back to Earth, but he's not the only one. It's this whole big thing. And it kind of goes through what he does now with all his powers on Earth and what had happened within Divinity 1, Divinity 2, and Divinity 3.
All in all, it does a great job catching you up. Gives you a good idea who Abram is, who Mishka is, who Kashmir is, and a couple other of the Valiant characters.
Yeah, so after Abram and Mishka have returned to Earth, they're followed by another character, Kashmir. It's these three cosmonauts that were sent off to reaches unknown. It's a mission of just trying to get up there, and that happened in the 60s. The Russians sent them up there. So Kashmir follows them back to Earth, and he seems to be one that suffered the most out of all three. He decides to throw the world into a worldwide projection of Russian rule across the entire world.
During this projection, there's a new Russian hero team, the Red Brigade. At the end of Divinity 3, Abram's left to figure out what to do with the missing pieces, and that includes the Red Brigade. And he ultimately chooses to let them survive in this book. So they're brand new characters that weren't otherwise there except for this projection. And since Abram has these godlike powers, he kind of chooses to let them choose their own path at this point. And it was a pretty interesting choice. So it leaves a door wide open for what's to happen with them ongoing with Valiant.
After checking on the Red Brigade, Abram decides to go check on some more familiar faces within the Valiant Universe, including Bloodshot, Harada, Ninjak, and Exo. And with all these people, he's checking out where they're at, what they're doing, and he makes a decision to either intervene with what they're doing or to let them continue on the way they are going. And he ultimately gives them the choice as well, just to continue with what they're doing.
I really like Abram's description of each of the characters he comes across. He comes about Ninjak, and he talks about how he's a strong-willed person, and only his will could probably match up to his. He talks about Harada, and Harada's considered a villain, but he's also pretty good in a way too. He doesn't necessarily completely mean harm, and it's just weird how he is thought of throughout the world. He touches base on Exo, and Exo just doesn't want nothing to do with him. He's being Auric.
Yeah, and he also checks in on Bloodshot and recognizes that Bloodshot carries a lot of bad memories, and he plays with the idea of possibly getting rid of those memories for him, but ultimately decides not to. A big question in this book that Abram asks himself is, it's not about what I can do, because he has these ultimate powers, he can do whatever he wants to bend reality, but it's more about what he should do, and that's something that he seems to be struggling with this, and it's a really interesting concept.
At the end of this book, Abram goes back home to Mishka, and he has kind of left a bomb right there.
Yeah, she tells him that she's pregnant.
And so it begins. Eternity.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how this plays out, how this new news weaves into that. Yeah, it's a great book. This was really entertaining. It was something I really appreciated, a good catch-up, especially for someone who doesn't know much about Divinity. This was great. I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm. Divinity's been a really good book. Each time. The art team has stayed the same the whole time. It is beautiful. David Barron's colors mixed with Trevor Hairshine's pencils, and then the inks from Ryan Wynn. They are awesome. So they all look spectacular. And then just so far what we've seen to come out of Eternity is going to be an amazing, beautiful book.
Yeah, I mean, the covers coming out, the pencils that we're getting out of this, it just looks really, really good. And I can't wait.
Everything's thrown out there for us in this book, and that gets us excited for Eternity #1. The one question I have about this book was kind of the coincidence that our friend Ray Garrison is having in Bloodshot Reborn 0 issue, where he is also expecting. It just seems like an interesting coincidence that it's happening so close within the time of just months away from each book coming out.
Yeah, I agree. It is a little coincidental. I guess these are things that are planned by them. It's going to be interesting what's to come, especially when we know that with some of the promotional stuff that's gone out for Bloodshot Salvation, that his daughter is a pretty important character. So I'm sure the child of Abram and Mishka is probably going to be important in Eternity. Yeah, this was a great book. I now know a lot about the story of Divinity, the Red Brigade. We have these new characters just walking the land, doing their own thing. Really interesting. Can't wait to see where this goes. It really does a good job of catching you up. This is a great jumping on point, and they've been doing a really good job of doing that, kind of bridging that. We've had Rye 0 in the last couple months as well that did something similar. Just kind of, there's a recap of what happened, and this was kind of a recap of more the Divinity story, and I think it's really neat. It's a really good way to do this, especially when they're expecting a lot of new readers, and with all these new ongoings that are going on. It's good stuff. Really, really good stuff.
Yeah, and I'm going to be giving this book a 4.75. The art was amazing in this. The paintings that came across each page were just a joy to look at. And then Matt Kindt's writing was great again. I'm excited for what's to come. Like I say, it lays it all out there and gets you excited to see what is next in Eternity. So 4.75 for me.
Yeah, I'm up there nearly. I'm a 4.5 on this book. Yeah, the art is amazing. It really is just a piece of artwork. It's really great to look at. I also, the story's really good. There's only a few questions in there that came up that I don't quite understand, and I don't think that there is an explanation for it yet, especially when it relates to Ark of Dacia and how he relates to that in his current tenure on planet Gorin. But other than that, like, this book flows really well, and it's awesome. It's just it's a cool book.
So here's a little thought.
Okay.
What if Ray Garrison's kid kind of met Abram's kid, and they became the new Valiant power couple?
Wow, that'll be interesting. I don't know what to think about that right now. Well, what do you guys think of something like that? After reading this book, do you guys have any interesting theories that are coming out of this as well? Do you have any idea of what kind of power couple Abram's kid and Bloodshot's kid would be? I think that's intense.
Yeah, cool. Thanks for watching, guys.
Hey, if you like this video, hit that like button down below.
Please subscribe. We like subscribers. Follow us on Twitter at WhoDooTV and on Facebook.
I guess, and thanks to our friends over at Outright Geekery. Check them out. They got all sorts of nerdy stuff for you to check out.
Thanks for watching this guy and me. Bye.